Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Today's October 13th, 2025. We're doing a recap of today's price action, what I saw, what trades we took, what trades we didn't take, again, based on our strategy and how much we were able to capture in at least 1 hour of trading. So this is the market open price action. We did gap higher from the close of Friday. And if you guys recall, Friday got a little crazy with some of the tariff news. And then there was a little bit better news about the tariffs and China and Trump. So the market started rallying overnight, trying to retest this 24,900 level. Actually, we went above it here during the London Open, came back down, and now we are getting ready to look at what happened right at market open, what trades we took and what trades we didn't take. Again, if you guys have seen some of these videos in the past, it's just a good idea to review your tape, see what you could have done better, review your performance, and kind of go from there. And that's how I've been able to improve upon my system and my trading strategy over the last few years. So let's go ahead and get started here. Technically, there was a bearish trigger that started at 928.22 right before market opens. This is the 1024 tick chart, by the way. So every candle formed after 1024 transactions, which if the volume is really high in the market, these candles are going to form very quickly. And if volume slows down, these candles are going to take a lot longer to form. So um, this is a really good time frame to use if you're looking for momentum and quick moves and for scalpers. So, which is basically my strategy. I have a scalping strategy. So you can see here the 928 candle did hit target. We're going to go ahead and move our runner. And then the market's actually about to open right after this. So there it is. There's that market open. Retesting VWAP. We're still in that trade technically. And now we're just going to keep track of when the runner gets taken out. And this would be a bullish trigger here, which it did hit target. So um, normally I probably wouldn't have I probably would not have traded this because the runner was still running. But that being said, look at the levels that we're bouncing off of, right? 800, which is a 100 level, VWAP, and the measured move is below the 21 EMA here. So I would say this would have been an actionable trade for us for about 14 points. So let's say we captured 13 points here at market open. And we hit the target here. So the runner is now running, and we're going to redraw some sort of upward trend line here. And this would be a bearish signal to go lower, but VWAP is going to be in the way. So if it does trigger, which it didn't, we would have not taken it anyway. So now we have this double bottom. We have a new downward trend line. Let's see. Okay, so this one is going to be the signal to go lower, but again, we have all that support levels below us, and I can't tell if it triggered and then stopped out or went up and then came down. So we're going to, this trade is now, we're going to disregard it. Now this is going to be a signal to go higher, but we are below the EMA, so we're going to have to skip it. It did end up working, but we're going to go ahead and measure it, but we didn't take this one. And now the runner is right here at break even. See, the runner would have been taken out because it hit. And so now this is our new signal is actually this candle, but we can't take it because, or can we take it? Let's see. The the measured move is above this downward trend line, so I would have skipped this one as well. And as you can see, it didn't work. We do have two trend lines here. We have this macro trend line. And we also have this micro trend line. Let me figure out what the golden ruler was. Golden ruler was is going to be here. Did we make a new high? Nope. All right, so golden ruler is down here, which means our upward trend line is still looking like this, actually. So this candle is potentially a bearish signal, but we have a support level here and we have golden ruler here, so we can't take it. It did trigger lower. Let's see if it comes back down the VWAP or if it stops out. It did. It hit VWAP, hit its target. And notice this downward trend line did hold. So we're going to keep that downward trend line drawn. And we are going to keep track of our runner now. So the runner now is right above 800. I'll just put it right here. Now it's a little bit lower. We can delete this line. The runner is now out. Okay. This is a potentially bearish signal because it's a rejection off of 800, but we do have this upward trend line. So if it does trigger lower, we can't take it. It did end up triggering lower and it hit its target. But again, these are my rules as to why I wouldn't have taken it there. And again, I've placed these rules here to help me be a more consistent trader and to help prevent a lot of false positive trades. Now, in this case, it did work and it's still running to the downside. This also moves our golden ruler, so that gives us this new downward trend line like this. And then there you go. This took out the bearish move. So then this is a potentially bullish signal to go higher. The question is, do we have room to hit it before the EMA? The answer is yes. So if it triggers higher, we would take it. It didn't. Now it looks like it wants to trigger lower. Problem is we have the 50 level and a standard deviation level, so we can't take it lower either. So we would just draw it out. And let's get the runner out of the way here. Golden ruler does move down. And now the runner is technically still at break even. Otherwise, we would have taken this trade bullish here. But the runner is still at break even. The runner has not been taken out. So this did trigger to the upside. But again, we can't take it because the runner hasn't been taken out yet. And there's that stop loss right there for this bullish trade that was a false positive trigger. Runner is still running. Now we got to draw a different downward trend. This is a signal to go higher, but the runner hasn't been taken out, and we have um, that standard deviation level right there at 750. So this will be a false positive bullish trigger, but it didn't trigger to the upside. So we're going to keep going here. And I believe this took out the runner. So now we're just waiting for a new signal. And none of these are triggering. A clean signal at this point would be a nice close above this level. We can take it higher. Our golden ruler did move all the way down here. We closed above it. So now our golden ruler is below us. So really there's nothing in our way. If we can get a nice bullish candle to close above this area, we can take it to the upside. But we get the opposite here. And we can't take this lower. It didn't trigger anyway. And now we have these two lines that are almost the same. So we'll just go ahead and delete this. And we're in a very, very, very tight wedge. Again, nothing has signaled yet. We did make a new high, so our golden ruler does move slightly up. This was a signal to go higher, but I don't like that we closed below 750. It did end up working, but not a fan. So we didn't take this one. There is the runner being taken out right there. And now we are still in a wedge. Let's see which direction the market wants to go. This would be a signal. The signal lower would actually be here because it was a rejection off of 750 and the EMA. The problem is we have the standard deviation level right there and this upward trend line. So I would have to pass on this. And there you go. It didn't hit its target. And instead it got stopped out. This is the bullish signal, but it's a false positive. Golden ruler moves up. Let's see if this one goes. It does hit the target. The runner now is at break even. And our upward trend line is kind of a shallow line like this. And we have this trend line as well, but it's almost the same line, so it would be redundant. All right, so a runner has been taken out. Now we have this new downward trend line here. I don't know if this signaled lower or not. I think it signaled lower right here. We wouldn't have taken it anyway because we have all the support levels below us. And there's that stop loss right there. But now you have this other trigger to the upside, which we wouldn't take because we were in the middle of that bearish trade. And again, another stop loss. And this is why I have my rules. You would have gotten chopped up if you took every single trigger here. This is another false positive trigger. Stop loss. This is going to be another false positive trigger here, but see if it ends up working. It does. This one ends up working, but again, you would have gotten chopped up on the way to trying to take every single trade, which is not good for the P&L. It would also be very frustrating if you kept getting into these trades, kept getting stopped out. I know what it would do to my emotions. It would kind of potentially put me on the beginning of going on tilt. So I try to do things that would help me to stay calm, not go on tilt. A runner here has been taken out. And just having a consistent system where you're not having to force trades, being patient, looking for a much better setup is the way to go, especially when your emotions are in play as well. This is a false positive bearish signal because we have these support levels, support, 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 support. In fact, the golden ruler moves up a little bit here. It almost hit target, but it didn't work. And then it went all the way to stop out. And then our bullish signal would have been down here. But again, you were still in the middle of this bearish trade. No way you could have gotten in. Now you're in the middle of this bullish trade now that is starting to break out. You delete this line. This line is going to stay. We've come into this 800 level. This is a potential rejection. If this could be a potentially bearish signal, but you're still in this bullish trade with that stop loss. So notice it triggered lower and then it continued higher. So there is my runner that's still running. And now my runner is right here. Now my runner has been taken out with this candle right there. And now we zoom in and we would draw this upward trend line like this. And it looks like we have like almost looks like a quadruple top, doesn't it? But it's not quite. It's a triple top. Wait, is this a little bit higher? I can't tell. Honestly, I can't tell. You zoom in some more here. They're all at the same level. Okay. Uh, there we go. All right. We have this triple top right now, right? Which direction is it going to break out? Hasn't broken out yet. It triggered lower here, but we have 800 below us. I cannot take this. I can't take this lower, so I have to wait. And instead, it ends up going higher. And we couldn't take this one higher either because we were in that bearish trade. And then the move higher also didn't work. So you could see this like back and forth action here, and this is why I have my rules. And you're kind of seeing it in action right now. This would be a bearish signal go lower, but it is the candle that stopped out this bullish candle. So I personally wouldn't take this one either, even if it signals lower. And I believe the measured move would be too big anyway. We would probably hit 750. No, actually, we wouldn't. The measured move is okay, but it is the candle that stopped us out, so I cannot take this one. It did signal lower. See if it actually comes down and hits its target. No, it did not. And now this was the bullish signal down here, but we were in the middle of that bearish trade. This just hit target. And again, none of these trades that these signals that I've shown you in the last 6 to 8 setups have been actionable on our part. So we've just been patiently just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, which is what most successful traders do is they keep waiting for a really good setup and not something marginal. They've also overcome their emotion, especially when it comes to FOMO, and they feel like they don't have to get into every single trade. You know what I mean? So trying to see if our golden ruler would have been down here. And then we made a new high right there. So our golden ruler now is here. Okay. So the runner is still running. And now the runner is out. So now we have this shallow downward trend line. We still have this upward trend line here, and we wait for price to come into a level. This is the potential level right here to go back up. But we have this trend line in the way. So I don't think I could take this one. Actually, you can take this one. So yeah, this is an actionable trade. Your target would be around 27.50 or a point below it. Let's see if this actually worked or we got stopped out. It would have worked because you would have taken a point below 27.50. So 26.50 you would have gotten out. So let's just say you got in around 17.50 and you got out at 26.50. So you got about 9 points on this trade right here, 9.48. And so now our trend line is still the same. It does end up coming back and hitting target. It did end up hitting target anyway. So our runner would have gotten stopped out right here. This trend line is still intact though. So this is another bullish signal to go higher, but this trend line is acting like resistance. So I would have passed on this one. Oop, see if this ends up working anyway. And it did end up working, but again, wouldn't have been actionable on my part. We'll keep track of the runner. You can delete this line now. Okay, the runner is still running. And the runner is still running. This would be a bearish signal to go lower. Let's see if, but the runner technically hasn't been taken out, so we would not take this bearish signal. It didn't trigger lower, but it did move the runner slightly up. And now the runner's been taken out, so we have to be patient and wait for a cleaner setup. This is a trigger higher, but we have standard deviation overhead, so this will be a false positive bullish trade that we would not take. You could see rejection right here at standard deviation. And there's that bearish move as well that hit target. The bullish trade stopped out. The bearish trade worked and the runner got stopped out. I believe the golden ruler would have moved up anyway. So this deletes that line. This line becomes a macro. This will be a signal to go higher, but again, standard deviation is in the way. So we would not take this. We would also be we would be drawing this upward trend line here. This is a false positive bearish signal. And so now the bullish trade has been stopped out and the bearish signal has worked. But again, we wouldn't be in either of those trades. Now we're going to keep track of the runner. Golden ruler moves up. Runner is right there. Delete this line. Okay. This was a false positive bullish signal here, but the runner was still running and we have overhead resistance. So we're just going to mark it, see if it ends up working or stopping out. Does work. We'll keep track of this runner, which is right around 850. Okay, runner is still running. Runner is out now. This is a potential bearish signal. It did not trigger. This is a potential bullish signal. We still can't take it because of that overhead resistance. We will mark it though. There it is. Golden ruler moves down. We have this trend line. Okay. Runner is running. Again, we wouldn't have been in this trade either because it didn't follow our rules. It was another false positive. There, the runner's been taken out. So this actually leaves us with this bullish signal here that we can take. So if this triggers higher, we take it. And it ended up working. So this was about a little under 10 points. So we'll say 9 or 8 points. We'll just be conservative here and say we captured 8 points here at 958 plus 8 points. And now our runner is actually at break even or slightly above break even, actually. Runner is still running. Our golden ruler moves up. And now our runner is being tested. We can't take it bearish because of this trend line, but this will be a bearish signal here. We'll go ahead and mark it. And it did stop out. If I was actually in this trade though, if you guys recall from my prior videos, my stop losses are typically 1.25 points above where the red line is. So in this case, my stop loss would be a 675, so it would not have stopped out. But we were not in this trade anyway. We would have still kept track of it. It did hit target right there. It kept going lower. So we would keep track of the runner. Now our golden ruler moves to the top, changes. I believe it changes the trend line all the way, or no, not all the way. Just this. We're going to have two trend lines. We're going to have this trend line, and we'll have this trend line. Okay, so the runner is still running. Okay. So the runner was still running, and then this is a bounce off of that standard deviation level. This was the signal to go higher, but we were still in the middle of that bearish trade. This did end up working. delete that line. We can adjust this line. And let's see what happens. Runner is still running. Runner is still running. Delete that line altogether now. Delete this line altogether now. Runner is still running. Okay. And now this is a bearish signal, rejection off the golden ruler up here, rejection off 900, but we do have the EMA in the way, so we would have to pass on this bearish signal as well. You can see it's stop loss right there. Simultaneously, this was a bullish signal, which we still can't take because we were in the middle of this bearish trade. Golden ruler moves down. This hit target. And now we are back retesting the 900 level right here. This would be a bearish signal, but it would be false positive. So let's go ahead and mark it out. It did end up working. Golden ruler moves to the top. Keep track of the runner now, which is right here. Runner gets taken out. This would normally be a bearish signal, but you have this trend line in the way. So we would have to skip this bearish trade. And you could see it triggered and then it stopped out. So now we're waiting. This is a bullish signal, but we have 900 in the way, and so I wouldn't take this one either. And this one also gets stopped out. This creates this trend line like this. And it creates this bearish signal to go lower. Problem is this candle stopped out this candle, so I cannot take this candle either if it does trigger to the downside. So it did not. So you're having this back and forth going on. You also have this trend line that looks like that too, which would have prevented this bearish trade from coming down as well. There's a lot of nuances that you do have to pay attention to when trading this system. A lot of rules, but they're there to help protect you. So this is a bullish trigger. You can't take it. Trend line and golden ruler. So we would have to skip this one. It did end up working. It retested the stop loss and then it went higher and hit the targets. Our runner is at break even. And now this is going to be our bearish signal to go. This is going to be our actual next bearish signal. Notice we would have drawn this trend line here. We broke the trend line. We broke the runner, broke 900, broke the EMA. We broke this upward trend line here. So this would be our bearish signal to go lower. So you would take this trade lower. And this one worked. This one was, let's see, I would say this was 19.25 points. So let's just say we captured about 18 points on this one at 10.12. And now we keep track of the runner. We delete these lines. Runner's been taken out. Still no trade. Still no trade. This would be a bearish signal to go lower, but we have this trend line in the way. See if it triggers. It did, and it stopped out. Again, you guys are starting to see that these rules are there to help protect us. And then this is going to be a much more aggressive trend line like this. This is a potential bearish signal, but we're bouncing off of this trend line here, and I believe the measured move is greater than the standard deviation. So we would pass on this one as well. It did not trigger. This one would be another bearish signal, but we're still above this macro trend line. It did end up working, but did not follow my rules. We would pass. This is a bullish signal here, but we were still in the middle of that bearish trade that at the time had the runner right here at break even. When this signaled, the runner hadn't been taken out yet. But anyway, here we are. We're going to keep track of this bullish trade now. We can delete that. I think when we made this new low, our golden ruler did move down here. So now our golden ruler is down here, which gives us this trend line like this. We're still keeping track of that bullish trade, which stopped out right there. So if we trigger higher here, this would be a signal to go higher. It did not. If we trigger lower, it's a false positive. We did not. Now we actually have this trend line like this. We have this wedge. This would be a bearish signal lower. Let's see if it triggers. It did, and it worked. This is 10.75 points. Let's just say we captured 9 points on this one. 10.16. Keep track of the runner. We are bouncing above golden ruler and this macro trend line here. This is a bullish signal higher, but we have overhead resistance, so it would be false positive. We would just keep track of it. And now in the middle of this bullish signal is this bearish signal here, which again, we can't take, but we'll keep track. It does work on the bearish side, did not work on the bullish side. We'll keep track of the runner. And I think the runner gets taken out here. I am, to be honest, I'm not sure. It's really hard to tell if it went up and then it came down. But let's assume the runner is still running. We'll just keep track of it. We now have this macro trend line. We also have this macro trend line because this is a lower high. And we can delete this line. We have a new micro trend line that's like this now. And The runner is still running. Okay. Okay. I think the runner finally gets taken out here. I don't know if it went down, then went up. This would have been a bullish signal higher, but I think the EMA is in the way and the trend line is in the way. So you'd have to skip this one. And you can see stop loss right there. This would be a bearish signal go lower. You would say, hey, there's nothing in the way. We should take this. But again, one of my rules is do not take the trade of the candle that stopped you out. So let's go ahead and measure that. Did end up working though. It was very clean. I won't lie. And then we'll keep track of this runner. And now this trade, this candle took out the runner and it's a bullish, potential bullish signal. So if it triggers higher, we take it. It did, and it did work for me because remember, I'm taking a profit a point below where the green line is. So this one did work for me. Um, and not only that, this is a bearish signal to go lower, but I think I wouldn't have taken this one because VWAP is in the way. So here I captured about like I want to say maybe 8 points here on this one. And this one we wouldn't have taken because of VWAP, even though it worked. And then the runner is still run. Is the runner still running? Yeah, the runner's still running. Okay. And then the runner was here, and then now this is a signal to go higher. It's this one. This is the one that closed above 800. So you would have gotten into this one and not this one. And there was room for it. The runner was down here was and would have been taken out. So this one is a little under 7 points. We'll say 6 points at 1022. We draw a new upward trend line. Keeping track of the runner on this one, which right now is at break even. And it moves a little bit higher. And now this will be a bearish signal lower. The question is, do we have enough room to hit it before 800? Barely. So this would be marginal, but I would take it. And I believe it's going to be a stop loss. Yeah, triggered lower than you stopped out. So this is a 10 and a quarter. We'll say negative 11 points here. Negative 11. We'll say an even negative 12 points. Be more conservative here. Negative 12 points. And then we have this bullish signal here, but it is a trade that stopped out this bearish trade, so I would have to skip it. And we also have our trend line getting in the way right there. Did end up working though. Now we have a new trend line like this. We'll keep track of this runner. All right, the runner is out now. This is a bearish signal to go lower, but VWAP is in the way. It ended up slicing through VWAP like it was butter. This is the runner is technically still running, so let's keep track of that. And now this is a bullish signal, but we do have the trend line in the way, so we would have to skip this one. So it's the false positive bullish signal. And you can see stop loss. This is a bearish signal here that worked, but we wouldn't have been able to take it because of where we were. Runners at break even. Okay, runner's been taken out. And now this is a potential signal to go higher, but we have overhead resistance, so it would be false positive. We would mark it. It did work, and then it's coming back down. We do have this trend line here and this trend line here. So we can't take any bearish trades either where we currently are because of potential um, support levels below us. So I have it marked. It did end up working. The runner was taken out right here by this candle. Now we have this sort of almost double bottom. We have a new downward trend line, which looks like, which we can't draw yet. This would be a bullish signal higher, rejection off of 800 to go back up, but we have overhead resistance, so we would keep track of it. It did end up working. Runner is at break even. This is a bearish signal, but again, we have potential support levels underneath us. So we would skip this one. There's that stop loss. This is now, oh, and the runner wasn't taken out yet either. So the runner is still running now on the original bullish trade. And at this point, the runner has been taken out. It's past 10:30. We've been trading for an hour. Very happy with our results, and we would probably stop right here for the day. So let's go ahead and talk about how many trades we took in 1 hour. We took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades. 7 were winners, and one was a loser. That gives us a win rate of 87.5%. And then let's add up all the points we captured. 13 plus 9 plus 8 plus 18 plus 9 plus 8 plus 6. And then the last trade was a loser for 12. We captured 59 points, which is the equivalent, if you trade one mini, of $1,180. Of course, you got to take out fees as well, which is a little under $4 per contract per trade for the mini, which isn't too bad. But you're going to be making over $1,000 in 1 hour today if you traded this system. Again, what profession that you know of where you can make $1,000 in 1 hour and just be done for the day? You trade it for 1 hour and you're done. Um, anyway, hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you are starting to see how the system is starting to work. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. And if you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And hopefully, we'll talk to each other real soon. Have a great rest and start to your week.